So in this session, we'll discuss weekly homework related to topic moment and momentum. So moment is the turning effect, and momentum when an object is having a mass and moving at certain velocity, we call that as momentum. The reason why I mix the MCQs so that you can distinguish even in exam that what is the difference between moment and momentum. In the first question, the first MCQ, the diagram shows three uniform beam P, Q and R, each pivoted at the center. Two forces acting on each beam as shown. Which beam will rotate clockwise? So basically, which beam is having a greater clockwise rotation? So when we check for P, this 4 Newton will cause a clockwise. The 4 Newton on the left hand side will cause an anti-clockwise. So when we calculate the clockwise moment, what is the formula to calculate the moment? The moment is a product of force into perpendicular distance. So force is given 4, and what about the perpendicular distance? That is 1. So 4 multiplied by 1, the moment or turning effect is 4 Newton meter, the clockwise. And what about anti-clockwise? The force is 4 and the distance is 2, so 4 multiplied by 2. So the anti-clockwise moment is 8 Newton meter. So which direction this rod P will rotate, clockwise or anti-clockwise? Which direction this rod will rotate? So it will be anti-clockwise because you can see anti-clockwise moment is more. So it is very easy to identify that, it will be anti-clockwise. So P will rotate anti-clockwise, it will not rotate clockwise. But in the question they are asking which beam will rotate clockwise. So we don't have to calculate for others. Options which are having P, they are totally wrong. So A cannot be an answer, B cannot be an answer, D cannot be an answer. So we are left with C only, that Q and R will rotate clockwise. I can show by calculation as well, but if you use your understanding, you can work out the wrong answers and easily find the correct one. When we check for Q, the clockwise moment will be 5 multiplied by 2, that is 10 Newton meter. And for anti-clockwise moment, 2 multiplied by 4, that's equal to 8 Newton meter. So because the clockwise moment is more, so this will rotate clockwise. And 1.5 into 2, that's equal to 3 Newton meter. And 1 into 4, that's equal to 4 Newton meter. So that will also rotate clockwise. So Q and R will rotate clockwise, but we already worked out the answer as we calculate for P, that P will rotate anti-clockwise. So those options which include P cannot be a right answer. So all option A, B and D include P. So that's why it is C. In this question, the diagram shows a uniform bridge. When they use the term uniform, it means the weight is acting at the center. The length of the rod is 4 meter and its weight is 10,000. So where the weight will act? Weight will act at the center. So it will be 10,000 Newton. On the other end, gradual increase until the bridge to lift. What is the lifting force? So we have the pivot here on the left hand side. Which direction this weight will cause a rotation? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? That will cause a clockwise. And which direction the force, the lifting force will try to cause a moment? That will be anti-clockwise. So for a moment, because we need this force F, So when we are solving a question, if they did not mention anything, we assume that the moment clockwise moment is equals to anti-clockwise moment. What is a clockwise moment? The force is 10,000 multiplied distance from the pivot, because weight is acting at the center. So if the total length is 4 meter, half of the length will be 2 meters. So this will be 10,000 multiplied by 2. If in the question they did not mention that moments are not equal, we have to consider, I told, whenever you're solving these questions, if nothing is mentioned, you have to consider or assume that the clockwise moments are equal to anti-clockwise moment. So that is your assumption if in the question nothing is mentioned. And about the anti-clockwise moment, what is the lifting force? That example F. And what about the distance from the pivot? The lifting force is 4 meter from the pivot. So we write that as 4. This 4 is multiplied, other side will divide. So it will be 10,000 multiplied by 2. So it will be 20,000, and 20,000 divided by 4, that is equals to 5,000. So B will be the right answer. Is it clear, this question? So whenever a moment question is there and they did not specify the moments are balanced, you have to assume that the moments are balanced to solve this question. Then another question, the lamp in the diagram is not very stable. We want to make it stable. So if we want to make it stable, what we should do? We should lower the center of the mass and we should increase the base area. This is how we can make stable. So which row changes would definitely make the lamp more stable? So base should be wider. We should increase the base area, and we center of the gravity should be lower. So D will be the right answer. Like we should have more mass at the bottom. So the base will be bigger and the center of the mass should be lower so that it will be more stable, so that it will not topple easily. The two blocks X and Y are placed and the beam balances on the pivot at its center. So if two objects are placed at the same distance, so it means they will have the same weights if they are placed at the same distance. So weight of X will be equal to weight of Y. Or we can also say if their weights are same, so we can say mass of X is equals to mass of Y. Why we are saying their weights are equal? Because they are placed at the same distance from the pivot. So they have the same mass and same density. They don't have the same density because their volumes are different. They have the same mass, but their densities are different because density is mass present in unit volume. So if the volume is different, the density is different. So if I say this is 20 Newton, this will also be 20 Newton. Or this will be 2 kilogram, 2 kg or 20 Newton object. This will be 2 kg or 20 Newton object. But why their densities are not same? Because they have different volumes. So this object will have more mass in a small volume. So X is denser, or X is having high density. and Y is having low density. So when we compare, they don't have the same density. That's why A is wrong. They have the same mass. If mass of this object is 2 kilogram, other will also be 2 kilogram. And when we find the weight, weight is mass multiplied by gravity. So mass is 2 and gravity is 10, so weight will be 20. So 20 Newton weight is there for object X and 20 Newton is there for object Y. So B is the right answer. They don't have the same volume, so C and D are totally wrong. You can clearly see that volume of Y is larger as compare, or it's bigger as compared to that of X. So when two objects are placed same distance from the pivot, they will have the same mass and they will have the same weight. What is the condition for object to be in equilibrium or object to be balanced? So there should be no resultant force and there should be no turning effect. That's why it is D. Because that's a condition for object to be in equilibrium. In question 6, the diagram shows 4 objects standing on a flat surface. The center of the mass of each object is marked as M. Which object will fall over? So how to identify which object will fall over? When we draw the direction of the weight, if weight is passing through the base, the object will be stable. Same thing, when we draw the direction of weight, it is passing through the base. So this object will be stable. Stable means it will not topple. But when you check C, it is not passing through the base of the object. So what happened to this object? This object will flip or this object will topple. And option D, when you show the direction of the weight, it is passing through the base. So weight is passing through the base of the object will be stable. If it is not passing through the base, the object will be unstable or object will topple. Two forces act on the object, in which situation it is impossible for object to be in equilibrium. Because when we need object to be in equilibrium, there should be no resultant force and no resultant moment. So if two forces act in the same direction, like I have the object and both the forces are acting in the same direction, can the result of this will be zero? It can never be zero. Like two forces acting in the same direction, the result can never be zero. So if result can never be zero, in this case, the object cannot be in equilibrium. It will always have a resultant force. That's why A is the right answer. That whenever two forces are acting in the same direction, the object cannot have a zero force. It will have some force. Because when two forces are acting in the same direction, how you find the result? You find the result by adding them. Because if the forces are in same direction, a 2 Newton force, two Newton forces are acting towards right. So when I find the resultant, it will be 2 plus 2, which is equals to 4 Newton. So this result can never be zero. So if the result can never be zero, the object can never be in equilibrium. That is why A is the right answer. Is it clear? Question 7. Because they are saying which is impossible, not possible. Then the diagram shows 4 models of buses placed on different ramps. How many of these model will fall over? So how to identify? You will draw perpendicular to the surface, draw an arrow for weight. So what about first model? It will be stable or unstable? The first model, the weight is passing through the base. So it will be stable. When you draw the weight for the second model, that is also passing through the base, so it will be stable. When you draw for third model, it is also passing through the base, it will be stable. But when you draw weight for the last model, it is not passing through the base of the bus, so it will fall over. So the last one is unstable. So how many models will fall over or how many models are unstable? Only one of the model is unstable. That's why A is the right answer. In question 9, an object of mass 50 kilogram accelerated from a velocity of 2 meter per second to 10 meter per second. So this is a starting velocity, this is a final. What is the impulse provided? Impulse means change in momentum. Impulse is having two formulas. One of the formula impulse I'm writing as I, that is final momentum minus initial momentum. The second formula for impulse is force multiplied by time. So we cannot use the second formula because we don't have force, we don't have time. So we can use the first formula, that's final minus initial. So object of 50 kilogram, initially it is moving with 2 meter per second. So 50 kg object moving with 2 meter per second. And then its speed changes to 10 meter per second. The same 50 kg, but speed changes to 10 meter per second. So what is the starting momentum? Initial momentum. So it will be 50 momentum. To get the momentum, the formula of momentum, which is denoted by P, is equals to M into V. So what is the starting momentum? Mass is 50 and the velocity is 2. So 50 multiplied by 2. So starting momentum is 100. And the final momentum 50 multiplied by 10, that's equal to 500. So what is the change in the momentum? That's called impulse. So final moment and direction does not change. If direction does not change, we'll take the same sign for both. So final momentum is 500 and the initial momentum is 100. So 500 minus 100, that is equals to 400. And the unit of impulse is Newton, can be Newton second or it can be kilogram meter per second. So which one is the right answer? B is the right answer. Is it clear, this one? The concept of the impulse, that is the change in momentum. In question 10, a bullet of mass 0.1. So whenever you have a question related to the motion, is better you draw the figure so you can understand the question. You have 0.1 kilogram bullet which is moving with 600 meter per second. And it hits it strike a stationary wooden block. So there's a block of wood which is having a mass of 1.9 kg, 1.90 or 1.9 is same, and it is at rest, not moving. So its speed is 0. The bullet stay in the block. What is the speed of the bullet and block immediately after the impact? So when the bullet hits the block, they are moving together. The bullet is inside the block and they are moving together. when two objects are moving together, they will have the same speed. So final speed of the block and the final speed of the bullet will be same. Whenever there is a collision between the two objects, so we always use conservation of momentum. And what is the conservation of momentum? According to conservation of momentum, it states that sum of the momentum before collision is equals to sum of momentum after the collision. So when we take the total momentum before collision, so this is before they collide, and this one is after collision. So mass does not change. This is 0.1, this is 1.9, but their speed, because they stick together, as they mention here, the bullets stay in a block. So if the bullets stay in a block, it means the block and the bullet are moving with the same speed. So momentum before collision. What is the momentum before collision for the bullet? So mass of the bullet is 0.1 and speed is 600. So the momentum here for the bullet is 60. What is the momentum of the block? Because it is rest. So when we multiply mass with velocity 1.9 with 0, so the momentum will be 0. So sum of momentum before collision for a bullet and the wooden block. So the momentum of a bullet is 60 and the momentum of block is 0. Is equals to sum of momentum after the collision. So after the collision, the bullet is having a mass of 0.1 and it is moving with velocity, unknown velocity, say v, plus the momentum of a block, it is having a mass of 1.9 and it is moving with a velocity v. Why we take their velocities as same? Because they mention in the question that the bullets stay in the block. So if the bullets stay in the block, the speed of the bullet and the block will be same. So now we solve like a mathematical equation. So 60 plus 0 is 60. 0.1 V plus 1.9 V, so that is equals to 2V, because 0.1 V plus 1.9, that's 2V. This 2 is multiplied, other side it will divide, so it will be 60 divided by 2, and when 60 divided by 2, that's equal to 30 meter per second. So speed of the block and the bullet is 30 meter per second after the collision. Is it clear? This part, Abdullah Khan, Saim, Shahzeb, Taha. Whenever two objects are colliding with each other, you have to use the concept of conservation of the momentum. And what is a conservation of momentum? This is the law of conservation of momentum, that the total momentum before the collision is equals to total momentum after the collision. So when we work out the momentum of bullet before the collision and the block, that should be equal to momentum after the collision. So mass of the bullet is 0.1 and the speed is 600. So momentum of the bullet is 60 before the collision. And the momentum of the block is 0 because it is at rest. So total momentum, from where I got 60, because this is a conservation of momentum. Momentum is a product of mass and velocity. So mass of the bullet is 0.1 and the velocity of the bullet is 600. So when 0.1 multiplied by 600, I will get as 60. So speed is 600, but the momentum, which is a product of mass and velocity, that is 60. Yes, Abdullah Sarfraz, is it clear now? How I got this 60? Because this is a momentum, conservation of momentum, not the conservation of velocity. So if you write like 600 plus 0 v plus v, that's wrong, because it's a momentum conservation. That's why you have to write momentum before equal to momentum after. In question 11, an object having a mass of 60, so mass is given to you, it decelerate. So mass is 60, starting velocity is 50, and the final velocity is 20. When the resultant force of 300 Newton act on it, how long the force act? So we have to find the time. So we can use the formula for acceleration, which is final minus initial divided by time. So using this, we have the final velocity, we have the initial velocity, but we need time, but we don't know acceleration. So first what we have to do, we have to find the acceleration by using a formula F is equals to ma. So force is 300, mass is 60, and acceleration or deceleration is unknown. So this will be 300 divided by 60. So 300 divided by 60, the acceleration of this object is 5 meter per second square. Now the second part of the question, we need the time. So how we can find the time? Acceleration is final minus initial divided by time. So deceleration is 5. Because it is deceleration, so we will put negative. It was acceleration, we will put positive. So deceleration, it's minus 5. Final velocity is 20. Initial velocity is 50 divided by time. As I mentioned, initial is 50 and the final is 20. So final minus initial divided by time. So this will be minus 5 is equals to 20 minus 50. That's equal to minus 30 divided by time. Now cross multiply. This time is multiplied and 5 will come in division. So the time will be equal to minus 30 divided by minus 5. So when minus 30 divided by minus 5, what we get? We will get 6 seconds as the answer. Is it clear, this question? So first we calculate the acceleration. How minus 5? Because in the question, if you see, they mention deceleration. Deceleration means speed decrease. So when we substitute the value for deceleration, it should be negative. If it was written acceleration, then the value we will substitute as positive. Deceleration is also known as negative acceleration. And the last question, a moving ball having a momentum of 25 kilogram meter per second. So this is 25 kilogram meter per second. Collides head on with a ball, it hits the wall and it rebounds with the same speed but in opposite direction. So if it is rebound with the same speed but in opposite direction, so it means the momentum value of the momentum does not change, so momentum will be same, but because it rebound, the direction changes. So if one of the momentum is negative, the other one will be positive, because momentum is a vector quantity. So as the direction changes, if one of the value you took as negative, the other one will be positive. So we need the force. So first we will find the impulse, which is equals to the final momentum minus the initial momentum. The final momentum is 25 minus, this is a minus for formula, and the initial momentum is minus 25. So when we solve, minus minus will be plus, so it will be 25 plus 25, that's equal to 50. We have to find the force. So force we can find by using a formula, F is equals to ma. We can use force is equals to, or impulse is equals to force multiplied by time. But in the question, because we don't know the initial and final velocity, that's why we cannot use the first formula. So first we are finding the impulse, which is 50 here, and then impulse is equals to force multiplied by time. Impulse is 50, force and time is in millisecond. So you have to convert the millisecond into second. So to convert millisecond into second, you divide by 1000. So it will be 50 divided by 1000, which is equals to 0.05. And 0.05 is multiplied, other side it will divide. So 50 divided by 0.05, that's equal to 1000 Newton. So D will be the right answer. So what we did, to get, we need the force in the question, we need the average force. To get the force, we have two formulas, F is equals to ma, or impulse is force multiplied by time. But we cannot find the force from the first formula because the mass and acceleration are not given, or velocities are not given, mass is not there. So we have to use a second formula. So to use a second formula, we have the time, but we need impulse first. So how we got the impulse? Impulse is final momentum minus initial momentum. The final momentum is 25 plus 25, and an inertial momentum is minus 25. Why? Because the directions are opposite. So if one of the momentum, if the final is positive, the initial one should be negative. And when you calculate the change in momentum, it is final minus initial. So final is 25, initial is minus 25. When you solve, you will get impulse as 50 Newton second. And now the formula, impulse is force into time. So you have the impulse, which is 50. The time in the question is given 50 millisecond. But your answer, the time should be in seconds. So you have to convert millisecond into second. So divide by 1000. So it will be 0.05, and 0.05 multiplied, other side it will divide, so you will get 1000 newtons. That's why D is the right answer for this question. Is it clear? So this was the question related to the exercise related to topic moment and momentum.